gotta
Even
what
if
now?
we aren't, we're still allowed to talk.
Have this.
You're never allowed to talk.
I got
No.
this awesome weapon specialization.
He's so excited talking about his guy. We're actually we're gonna cover every character in depth. But first, the joke here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Pathfinder 2nd Edition: Age of Ashes. I've had a couple comments from fans and patrons about how they enjoy our cold start. Like we'll be talking about something, and I look at the time and I'm like, crap, and I'll start up, the stream and everything, and you guys are still going on about the little thing. And a lot of people really enjoy that, how we're talking about gaming or talking about whatever. Not necessarily the three things we try to avoid: politics, religion, and soapbox type of thing. We're just gaming stuff. Spiegler was playing Baldur's Gate. Though there's an episode that came
right now. I should probably stop and
start paying attention to tonight.
Doug and I actually this past week have been bouncing back and forth build ideas for Poser. So we've been kind of working that through, so that's been fun.
Yeah, and we got you listening to the Dark Times podcast, and it's provocative. It makes you think. It's a couple of guys that just enjoy talking about
absolutely.
stuff.
After I started listening to them, like I've been on a Star Wars binge, and then you're like, yeah, hey, we aren't playing Star Wars for 3 weeks, and I'm like, how much is a plane ticket to Canada so I can,
Tonight is Age of Ashes. Last week was Star Wars. Next week is my wedding anniversary. It falls on a Friday. Yeah, my wife will meet you at the airport, going, don't. Okay. And next week I was gonna do one of each. I was gonna do some Star Wars, but I'm looking at our release schedule now. We try to record 4 months, 2 slots every other week, and our release, to keep things kosher so that we never fall too far behind, is 3 a month. So the 10th, the 20th, the 30th get one series, the 5th, the 15th, and the 25th get the other series, which is Age of Ashes. So people are getting an episode from Mongers every 5 days, especially if they listen to 2 shows, plus on top of whatever extra stuff we're throwing out there randomly. But if you only listen to one show, it's a 10-day release. But that's better than 14 days. Like, waiting for a show every 2 weeks sucks, even though we only shoot every 2 weeks. So I found this was a good way to not only bank some episodes for when holidays come up or something goes, awry, like I've been married too many years.
Life happens.
Exactly. And it's working well. So save yourself a plane ticket.
Yeah.
You and the fans. Which brings us to the big topic discussion. When we stopped playing last week, I called upon the Mongers elders and pitched some ideas. Elders. And when the founding fathers,
code
right?
for old fogies.
The founding fathers.
People you asked first. Let's be real, Jeff. You are the founding father.
Thank you. I may be the guy at the end of the table, but the table I try to keep as round as possible. I asked them about something that we've been doing for formula, for Mongers. One thing we've been doing that worked fairly well is getting ahead of the latest, greatest thing. We were talking about the Tuskmoon Adventure Path. We were talking about the new Alkenstar, guns and powder keg, just because of the last episode, and when people that I like to play with go, yeah, that's cool, I'd be down for that, that gets me excited. I start looking into it, like, seriously, like budgeting time and could I DM this? Should I ask Matt to DM one? Blah, blah, all this type of thing, right? And I've been falling into this trap for years where, and I'm not talking about like passing interest, it's like talking about a movie, like new season of Picard's coming out next week. Everyone's like, yeah, I'll watch that, and that's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is that not everyone's going to watch it when it drops Thursday. Not everyone is a huge Patrick Stewart fan. Not everyone even likes Star Trek. But it's geeky and cool and worth discussing. And that's where I get trapped, because I take interest as commitment, or, yes, greenlit. So I asked the Kesh question a couple of weeks ago, and I got, yeah. And then I got them all together as one, because I usually ask them individually. It's easier to win them to my side that way, one-on-one. Asked them all together, and they all said the same thing. Really, we should just focus on our 2 biggest shows. Stop starting new shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. I have seen a trend in the internet.
King of tangents, Jeff. You
I know
really,
what-
really
I-
are.
True, but like I said, there's method
I
to
mean,
my
you
madness.
live your life by it, and I mean, dude, gotta praise you for you being you. But we're not you.
I'm not falling for you jumping in on this conversation and putting me on a tangent. So put a pin in that second for a second, Witt. I'm giving this some. I give this some thought. And we're gonna finish. So, something I've seen people doing is world building. Even some of the streamers and stuff I respect, like Michael K7 or whatever, he'll even go on and invent a race and then talk to chat and like hammer out the details about a brand new race for his new world that's up and coming. That's really cool.
Good idea.
Yeah, no, I've been world building with my wife for the last 3 years. And ours is like a D20 modern, like it's modern fantasy or urban fantasy as they call it. So not really Pathfinder, not really Star Wars, it's actually in between, which basically gets the triple scratch, itched for me. I play Pathfinder with you guys, fantasy's done. Play Star Wars with you guys, sci-fi itch is done. Steppen, there is more than D4s you can roll. There you go. Good boy. Just throwing around dice. But I digress. If it's gonna commit several years for us to finish these two epic and really worthwhile Star Wars Dawn of Defiance, Pathfinder Age of Ashes Adventure Path, because they are the best, and we shouldn't go off in tangent. What about the lead-in time? Waiting for Messsina, 20 minutes a night, or even the 15-minute setup time. What if we brainstormed world building? You guys really liked Jarrett's World that he had written for Wild. I'm talking about open brainstorming that we record, maybe offer up to the masses, or just we start building our own world. And when these other pods run out, we go play on our world built by, not by me, by us. So, imagination, brainstorming. Here's an idea. World, concept, aspect. Thinking about a world is overwhelming. Thinking about a concept, original concept for a world, like The Last Airbender, where everything's based on elements, but it's ancient China, but magic is real, but it's selected, it's only generational, and it's in the DNA, and blah, 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 blah. And then fast forward to Legend of Korra, where they bring in steampunk technology and more, and yada, 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 everything. That took one guy, that took a panel of writers, I'm not sure who wrote that. Brilliant, okay. Takes time. We have time. We have anywhere from half an hour to 30 minutes at the beginning of every session where everyone's at the top of their game. They're Friday night, they're ready to play, and we're not playing because we're always waiting on someone or something goes sideways. So here's the thought. In all the isekai anime I've been watching, I actually watch a lot of it to get ideas for my home world for the wife. And I was watching somebody rate these and talking about the animation of execution, like how water magic in this one is executed in an art style, how good it looks. But to you, the listener, the watcher,
Which one's that? I want to be a nerd. Tangent.
Jobless Reincarnation. The 40-year-old dude that you actually get.
Yeah. No, that is good. That is a very, very good. Like,
yeah.
I do like the Isekai stuff too. It scratches an itch for sure.
So you guys have watched a ton of anime. You've watched every fantasy and sci-fi out there, right? Whenever you watch something, I'm not talking about cutting and pasting every good thing from every world. I mean, look at Harry Potter. It hit on familiar themes and she made it her own, but a lot of it was familiar because
it's Star Wars. Harry Potter is Star Wars.
Sure. Like, we can digress into the 6 basic Hollywood endings, that type of thing. But what I'm talking about is if you had control of a world to make a race, to make a school of magic or whatever, right? So here's just to give you an idea what I'm going to start hoping we could do, okay? World, ours unnamed. Concept, we're brainstorming, forget about that. So of one little aspect in the world that I'd like to see. I really like elemental magic, so I want to see it in our world. And I like the idea of a mage being the conduit to affect an element. You have dirt, but what makes it magical is because they can make it float around or make it mud or whatever, right? But D&D magic is usually based in some kind of alchemy or science. So if you had a wizard...
By a school.
Yeah, but I mean like
divination.
Even the old lightning... the material component was like cat skin and a glass ride because you're making static electricity and then, draw from the power plane and amplifies it with some incarnation. We just watched, Matt, you and I just watched Faraway Paladin. Words of Power. And they were scribing,
great anime.
you know, and then it had a guy calling on fae spirits, you know, gnomes, and he was making, but you could see spells that were like right out of the D&D book, but executed differently.
Oh yeah, it honestly, like out of any anime I've seen, that one actually like does a good representation of like the Dungeon and Dragon perspective of a paladin.
Yeah, and like you can spend 6 episodes on this guy being raised by 3 undead heroes that are long dead, but are heroes. One teaches faith, one teaches combat, one educates him as a wizard, and the guy comes out of it, you know, like super powerful. But there's a reason. It's not just, oh, our village is secluded and we're all very powerful, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, still not gonna let you tangent me, Matt. So I was thinking about light and dark, sun, heat, darkness, cold, and you apply it to an element. So you could have a water mage or hydro mage having a steam spell because water and heat make steam, or an ice spell because cold and water make ice, and that is magic. So they're based in the elements, but they don't throw water and fire around. They throw very unique combinations. So you don't have a world of fireballs and light and all that shit that's been done before, but when you break it down to dice, someone does a cone of steam, you know, the dice is relatable to, you know, the D6 bone spells.
Magic system that they have developed for the Wheel of Time is very interesting in that aspect, where you're weaving elements
right
to create different effects. A little bit of this, a little bit of that does this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that does this.
So here's my pitch at the end of what I just explained. No one ever combines spell. If you hit a target with steam, they scald, they go ow. But what happens next round? They're soaking wet with hot water. If you cooled them down, followed up with ice spell, you could literally put in your ice spell or cold descriptor, blah, 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 raw, the spell does this damage. But if preceded by another spell or some sort of water source or heat source, you know, it'll do extra couple dice of damage because, you know, and then you've got people combining spells the way Pathfinder's high level Corey something. So
you're talking world building. Are you talking world building within a specific rule set, or you're talking about making a whole rule set?
Could be either. My point is, no one ever talks about in a spell description about if you precede this spell and then follow up with another one, you get extra damage because the two of them combined. You see what I'm saying?
Divinity Original Sin 2. Video game, but they do have you know, like mixing elements to do like extra damage. You know, like you drop, you know, a rainstorm spell and then a lightning spell, it electrifies the water that's on the ground, making it, you know, electrified terrain.
Right.
Or,
now, somebody will do that at a game and the DM goes, oh, I like where you're going with this. And they just give it to you like it's a homebrew thing, or like, oh, that's think out of the box. That's your hero point. I'm talking about hard writing that shit into the rules. Now,
that's what Infinity has done.
Right. Now, the downside of this is, can't remember his name. The big, Corey, what the fuck is his name? The first guy to poo-poo on Pathfinder high level, because they're like, all the feats stack up and then all of a sudden you find yourself trapped into a pattern. Like the swashbuckler, it's just best to execute this feat followed by this one, flourish, done. That's how you get the max damage in the least amount of time. So everyone's going to do it, and it's a trap, right? I'm worried that
taking 20, dude.
Right. So my idea is like to be original. Will it trap people like, oh, well, I'm not going to get this spell and without this other spell, and I'm always going to combine them, which means your opponent will actually anticipate what's coming. Because everyone goes for the extra damage. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out a way around that where either you just lean into it and you actually have your opponent. Okay, so how do you make it unfair? Okay, I stack spells, and if you do it in this order, there's more damage. Well, that sucks for the guy. Well, no, because the guy
I would say
has
take
seen
it back
this
a
100
step.
times. The guy's seen this 100 times.
Take it back a step so that they can't, and make it so that one person does one spell, another person does another spell, another person does another spell. It all resolves, and the combination effect happens in that round. And then you go on to the next round.
Yeah,
so the enemies can do it too.
Yeah, a way around it. But my finishing thought was basically is to balance this so that not everyone goes hardcore stacking 2 spells and always goes for the extra damage, is the defender sees the pattern and gets a bonus to a save. And that's how you balance the extra damage. he gets a better chance of saving against the higher damage that everyone's going to try to go for. And that's how you balance the system. And now, a word from Ryan Messsina.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Well, technically, Fantasy Grounds is still our sponsor. Haven't heard from them forever,
Yep.
but, you know, they're still
Yay, Fantasy Grounds. No, they post in our Discord all the time. Of their new releases and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hotwired that. Hotwired that.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So, without further ado, anyway, but are you guys
There's Mr. Messsina.
picking up what I'm laying down? You know, the idea of a world build. Like, now, this could obviously turn into like a crap blast of discussion with everybody just going blah, 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 blah type of thing, right? So I don't know if
I've had a really cool idea for a world concept for a long time. I actually, when I was in my teen years, I wrote like 160 pages of a novel based on this world. And when the Chernobyl virus was released, one of the first big, like, get you if you don't have an AV came along, it wiped my hard drive. I lost all of my writing since I was like a child. It was very upsetting.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Do we get to hear the word concept, or should I like pause the stream so that
Would you like to hear the concept?
I'd love to hear it. I just don't know if you're willing to like put it out there because by the time we actually, like I said,
imagine a world that was fragmented by a cataclysmic event, and what made me think of this is because you talked about elements, and the world was divided by elements. So there's like an aerial place. There's like a lava-y.
The elemental planes, kind of.
Yeah, different sections based on the different elements, and so the world exploded, and there were guardian spirits that held pockets related to their element together. And this would actually go along with that other idea you had where you start the adventure with one person and he goes along and picks up another person, and then they go along and pick up another person.
That's totally what I was leading into, was our private conversation about if we're going to introduce a world, we're going to start with one person. And you know what I really want to call it? Only human, because there are no humans on this world. And one of you guys gets to be the only
And I'm not even
human.
kidding, dude. That actually plays in. So when the world was fragmented, people were fragmented. So you've got like the aerial place, and it's all like these avian humanoid type creatures, and the lava place, and they're all these like magma type dwarven kind of
evolution
you know what I mean?
to
Like,
adapt. Yeah.
you know, and yeah. So, anyways,
No, that's cool.
It's a
Like,
cool
like
concept.
you lean into the elements. Like I said, it's familiar, but it loves it. All right. So, well, that was like I said, 18 minutes. See what I'm talking about? So, Ryan, we were literally, I came up with the concept of a show or an idea of like, since we're going to lean into our big shows and not constantly start new pods, I was talking in the idea about either recording or starting a show, which is world concept aspect and us world building until one of these shows stops. And then we'll have a world pretty much ready in place for us to play on that we all built together.
Right.
That's cool. That's very cool.
All right. So let us begin.
Let us.
Where we left off, right?
Didn't we like blow a place up and almost die?
Almost blew the place up.
Almost.
Sadly, I with everyone whispering about the Reddit boards and everything so much, I let fact and fiction and fake Pathfinder news got in my head, and I thought the entire cliff face was going to drop, or the whole temple. No, the place not only blows up in 3 fireballs, the damage overlaps and doesn't even compound or stack. It's a sad day. It's kind of like, you know, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Next time.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you all. Oh, I can't.
Oh, they gave me only a pew, not a pew.
So first thing I want to do is a little bit of a history lesson amongst the belongings, not on Gerard, but remember you guys found his boat?
Yep.
And I did my 2-minute rant about like, oh, it's so great, you know, like I don't like swapping out magical items in every treasure pile to perfectly suit what the guy wanted, the player, because I think it takes away from the story of like why that item fell here in the first place. And I was so happy that someone was playing a monk in their wraps, and you had them. No, I was literally tied to share about this in the car on the drive home. But
and then he has the audacity.
But
the nerve.
But touche, you're playing a monk with an item that you wouldn't think would show up in every +1 sword pile. So you went like, okay, well, I need these. I bought them or I made them. So I'm not blaming you. So
No.
apologies if you actually thought I was
And
mad
of all
at
places
you
to
about
find them, the
In a-
jungle.
that. In a boat from Taldor that, like, who do you take those off of, I wonder, you know? Anyway, in this boat, you guys come across a journal. And it's obviously Pendergast's journal, and he's written in it in common, because thank God Taldor, just their national language is common, so everybody read. But stuffed in it are all these letters from Erhard, his twin brother. Now, there's a lot to read here, gentlemen, but glancing through and trying to make sense of what this is, it's obviously a journal. And what the letters are, apparently these two had a very, very big and real dragged-out rivalry about their careers, about one stealing the other's glory and who would be more famous. And they're both adventurers, they're both explorers. However, blood is thicker than water, and maybe it's a move to prove that one brother is right over the other, or maybe it comes from a place of love where he wants to protect the other brother. But you do find that Erhardt's letters are far more interesting and informative, directly penned to his brother Gerard, than Gerard's ridiculous notes by themselves, though those notes still would give up possible valuable information. So I would like to read to you a snippet of this letter, and you will hear more as the episodes continue, so that you guys get a little bit, and the audience, of course, get a little bit a different way of doing the lore drops, like we used to do the Dice Before Dishonor, where a character would, this is my subject and I'm lore dropping, and you'd wonder where the conversation actually was. Like, it was neat that the samurai talked about how the Society of Opera worked, but it's like, who's he talking to? When did this happen? Did somebody eavesdrop? That type of thing. So I'm giving you guys a physical representation of something. Don't lose it, because if you guys do, then, the poor audience won't learn all the really cool things, about the Moagi Expanse. Don't worry, there are other sources like Nikita, the story speaker of the Eukjae. But I digress. To start us off, in the deep jungle, while you guys are going about his belongings, forming a plan, and I believe even discussing returning to the city.
Yes.
At least one of
definitely are returning to the city, because we have actually made some headway and maybe figured something out thanks to the intuition of, who was it? Who's like, I felt a paw lift in the for. Well, I think it was the goblin. I think it was you, Joe.
The Grippleys got everyone really high, and the guy who saved the worst of the best went on a little spirit journey.
Sorry, Aiden, my bad.
Aiden, I called that episode. I actually called that episode Spirit Guides, because there is a feat. Again, all the episodes are named after a feat that maybe the description doesn't relate to what's going on, but the title always does. So, before you guys make a master plan, if I may, cue a little music here.
Diddle-oo.
The jungle-dwelling elves, known as the Eukjae, are enigmas to most outsiders and bear many differences in reputations among the cultures that have come into contact with them, my brother. To the masters of the Magawabwa in the academic city of Nantambu, yes, Matt, that's exactly how I'm reading it, Eukjae are an ancient and respected civilization of scholars who sometimes venture from their homes to teach students or to bring rare seeds to the university's libraries. To the scattered tribes of the Mwangi jungle itself, Eukjae are mysterious and implacable guardians of the jungle and are viewed with awe and suspicion in equal measure. to capitalistic organizations such as the Aspis Consortium, Eukjae are a fearsome foe, well known for their furious attacks on Aspis slavers, such as the infamous massacre at Whitebridge Station. Yet, to all who know them, Eukjae are warriors first and foremost, standing ready to fight against an unknown darkness from an ancient time. And then somebody, unfortunately, disturbs the reader, and you guys get back to discussing what's next.
He's quite the historian, this one was. It's a shame we had to put an end to him. But he'd clearly gone mad.
Well, what I read was actually
this way.
just to be clear, the letter I'm reading is actually from his twin brother. That's right, Lobrak. There's another mustache out there, just waiting to be claimed.
Oh, and
And the gears start turning.
You were saying?
Right. So, what you say, lads? I think we figured some stuff out. It's time to head back and relay our progress onto the Eukjae.
That's agreed, cousin.
That's a good way. We could also take
Plus,
a
I
different
could
way
use a
back
little
there.
bit of time to sort some things out in my spell book.
Right. I think we'd all be good. Be due for a good sit and a good think and a good brew.
The village is only 2 days travel northwest, actually.
A day and a half if we run the entire time. Let's do this! Come on! Hey, let's go for into the jungle. I'll take the high road now.
So there's a
And
montage.
Rose just bolt off from the woods.
The rest of us just watch him go double timing it into the jungle by himself.
Oh yeah,
Lobrak will rush after.
scattering all kinds of enemies, plant life, predators, and.
No, that's my
they're-
way of finding out what predators are in the jungle.
Well, I know they're
I
attracted
actually
by
have-
the noise, but also somehow instinctually appalled by it and leave you alone.
I actually have the skill feat survey wildlife. I'm employing it, and this is how I do that.
Well, it's funny thing you should talk about a new feat, Ryan, because you guys just leveled. So
Copyright.
as a bit of a marching song, let's start with Miros Anvilbender. And on the 2-day trek, by the time you guys all taught me about leveling your characters, you got there. So starting with Ryan. Ryan, 7th
Yes.
level. What did you take a level in?
I took another level in monk.
Of course.
It's been
'cause-
serving me.
That's right, because multiclassing is a farce. I forgot.
Whoever does that. Multi-classing happened to a cousin of mine. Ruined his marriage. A horrible thing.
Don't think that's the same thing, but go ahead.
Oh no, my bad. So level 7 happened there, and we got us martial classes, at least us monks. We got only a general feat this time around. So I took toughness because it makes you tougher.
Yeah, I remember
Exactly what
that.
does that do in second ed, Ryan?
Yeah, thank you.
No, glad you asked. You can withstand more punishment than most before succumbing. Increase your maximum hit points by your level, and the DC recovery check is equal to 9 plus your dying condition value, as opposed to I would imagine 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Nice. Well, so it gives you a bit of an advantage, and it's a cumulative feat. So every time you level, you get an additional hit point.
yes, exactly. So every level I get that
And
extra hit points.
it's retro. So no matter what level you take it at, it's retro. You get what you're owed, and you'll get 1 hit point from now on. As far as I'm seeing this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not
And,
bad.
I've
I mean, it was
heard-
good. It was good in first edition. It's still good. So
Yeah.
yay.
and I heard that it ties in with some dwarf feats later on.
Oh, that's something else I wanted you guys to talk about is some of the why of the feats that are coming out now. Tell me if they tie in or if there were prerequisites to taking those feats, which affected your earlier choices, because we are going to discuss retraining soon. But sorry. So Ryan,
Yes.
your new hit points.
Yes, I am at 108.
And what'd you have before? Like 70 something? 90 something?
Yeah.
95?
I had
Reaches the 3-digit hit point.
I'm great.
Mark.
So now when I say that I'm good, I actually mean it, and I'm not so close to death. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. 16 hit points. I'm like, fine. This is great. I can. I'm fine. That's a lung. I got two. That's a spare. So that's fine.
How about your saving throws?
They are great. I got Path to Perfection, which I can use to. You can pick one of your saves, and you can do much more better.
So can you tell us if these choices are class feats, general feats, or skill feats?
This is class. Monks get it.
Okay, so the toughness was like a general feat because you got one at 7th? Okay.
Yeah. All of us should have gotten a general feat, I would imagine. And then that's not the. Sorry, I wanted to bring up the the page here for it, but for the Path to Perfection, it basically, if memory serves me right, you progress along your own path to enlightenment, choose a Fortitude, Reflex, or Will saving throw. Your proficiency rank increases to Master. So when you roll success on the chosen saving throw, you get a critical success instead. So if I succeed, I critically succeed.
So you have to be expert in something, and next up is Master, and then Legendary, right? Because it's
your proficiency rank for the chosen saving throw increases to Master. So yeah, it would implies that you're expert to begin with.
Okay.
Which,
like I say, there's got to be a prereq from that because there's no way you can take that at.
Oh yeah, well, so it's a prereq, but it's in the monk class, so it's kind of saying you're a monk, you've made it this point.
Okay.
Choose your path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So which one did you pick?
Reflex.
Really? Now I thought you would have gone, Fortitude, considering all that dysentery and malaria and stuff, and just to be the ultimate dwarf,
That's all right. I'll vomit that out in the long run.
Yeah,
but my chest hair has been singed more than once, and that is two
things to for ultimate dwarf. But you don't list getting drunk as another thing for increasing your fortitude is a good thing.
Well, it wasn't lacking in the first place. He is a monk and he is a dwarf. Now I'm assuming monk saves were like pretty good across the board to start, right?
Yes. Monk does as monk is.
So what else is new exciting about the mighty Muros?
So toughness, path to perfection, weapon specialization now.
Oh, you don't want to steal Spiegler's thunder. He got very excited about that earlier.
So I'll do two additional damage now.
Okay.
Yeah, this damage increases to 3 if you're a master.
Now, do you need focus to get that open?
Perf. No, it's a weapon specialization. It's just a class.
There's no prereq for it.
It's a trait.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
To all your unarmed attacks.
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of damage output are we talking about now?
2 more than I was before.
So is this straight
Can you
up
give us a
+2?
number?
It's a +2 off the bottom. Yeah, so my bottom end is be increased by +2, depending on what I'm doing.
Fine,
yeah.
I'll pull you up. Make me peek at your character sheet.
Oh, I know, I have it right here. So yeah, like two. So for my just a normal fist is like 2d6 + 6.
Right, and your falling stone is like 2d8 + 6 now, right?
It'd be 2d8 +
nice.
6.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm still good at +4s, man. So make sure you get those in there on the sheet, dude. We don't want to, you know.
Yeah. I added the level. I just got to make sure that the software accepts the fact that I added.
You're overriding, yeah. Okay. Anything else, sir? Let's see. We talked about saves, hit points.
Yeah.
There's no natural armor class progression with the new monk class? Like defenses?
No, my AC right now standing still is 24.
Okay.
Because it's tied to your level now. Everyone's is tied to their level.
Okay.
So yeah, AC
Thank
is
you,
24.
Yeah,
My fortitude, reflex, will. We want to just throw it out there. It's
Sure.
14, 16, 14.
Very nice.
I'm happy with that. 24 to AC on my good days. It can maybe be higher, maybe lower, depending on if it's a good day or a bad day. Fire resistance, 3. That's dope.
Because that goes up.
Yeah, not yet. It goes
now, what
up next
about
level.
your druid archetype?
Nothing. Not this
yet.
level.
Not
Not
yet.
this level.
Now,
There's
you
a
haven't
different-
revealed your full druidness. Like, you just came...
No.
You just
It's
came out and you've been
It's
like...
a secret, silly.
No, it's fine. No.
He just casted his first spell.
I know.
Yeah. Well, you saw me cast climbs, spider climb.
Yeah, but no, there was
Yes.
the mud thing. You did the mud thing for the
Yeah,
train.
yeah.
I should.
Yeah. No,
Now
mud
that you
fit.
can do that yourself, I should train a different spell for that slot.
buff, like enlarge person.
Train your
what? Yeah, whatever
familiar.
you want, man.
Train your. Well, actually, you could have 2 spiders running around. Speaking of spiders, I heard about the NPC.
Well, no, as one of the cool things about familiars is I can choose them to have a speed. They can swim, they can fly, they can climb.
Yeah, you can give them.
When I do
transportation.
my daily meditation, I can say, "Hey, familiar, today you climb. Hey, familiar, today you swim. Hey, familiar, today you fly." Typically, I go fly, but right now I'm just using. He's just a battery for my alchemy. I'm harvesting off of this.
Yeah, I'm sure he has feelings. I used to have a name,
Until he had a gland.
So we're segue to Matt Witt's 7th level character through his familiar. Anything else, Ryan, before you depart?
No.
Okay.
That's just it. Been becoming more one with myself.
Okay.
I'm becoming less what the mountain's made of and more about the stones. You got to have the stones.
I'm feeling you. Matt Witt playing Elbrick Stonechucker, the Dwarven Sorcerer.
That's my name.
Let's start with your saving throws compared to your fellow dwarf. I'm just curious.
My saving throws: Fortitude plus 11, Reflex plus 12, Will plus 13.
Okay.
Not bad.
No, like you're
amazing.
You're almost on par. It's not like 9, 8, 7 where he's just leaving the dirt.
No, I'm still a dwarf.
Okay. And hit points. Sorcery is shallow end of the gene pool.
That's where there's quite a bit of differentiation. I'm rocking 66 hit points. Because it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm not going to.
Not bad. You can take that, one massive hit and then die. That's okay. The 50 hit
I
points.
still have to run away.
We had this unwritten rule in the previous editions. Like once you get to 50 hit points, you should be able to survive a battle by hiding and not like you're not a walking, squish puppy. Skill tree.
I think it was last level I took that step into out of the one-shotness.
Yeah. Getting a lot of echo from the room. Can you bring it in a bit and tell us about your feats?
Certainly can. Well, I got a general feat as well. And I played into my skill side of things and took untrained improvisation.
Which allows you to.
So what that means is I can basically do a little bit of anything, even when I don't know what the crap I'm doing. So at this point, because I'm 7th level, I get to add my level to the bonus on untrained skills. So suddenly, previous to level 7, you only get half your level, but now at level 7, I get the whole thing. So now, any untrained skill just has a +7.
Any trying to train knowledge skill? Or all of them?
Any skill. All skills. If
Really?
it is an untrained skill, I get +7.
And this feat's called...
Untrained improvisation.
Oh, improvisation. Okay, so it's not a jack of all trades thing, like where you've been exposed.
So I can't do the skill abilities, like I can't track. But if you call on me to do a skill, I can do it.
Yeah, survival. So like build a shelter, you improvise. Track, that's a feat. No, so you have to say no.
Nope, can't
Okay.
track.
Okay. I'm curious though.
But I can survive.
Can you read me the description from that? Because I'm curious what their
Says,
angle is.
You've learned how to handle situations when you're out of your depth. Your proficiency bonus to untrained skill checks is equal to half your level instead of +0. If you're 7th level or higher, the bonus increases to your full level instead. This doesn't allow you to use the skill's trained actions.
Yeah, so that sounds like everyone can use skills untrained as long as they don't have a specific trained action, and you get a bonus.
+0. Anyone
okay.
can make the attempt.
Yeah, that's where I was getting off the page here. It's just like, no one can do this, only you. No, everyone can do this. Okay, cool. What else you
got? And the best part of 7th level is I get access to 4th level spells. So
do we get to do we get a taste of that, or are you gonna?
Yeah. So I obviously I took my favorite spell. I put a slot into that,
Okay.
And I dedicated a 4th level to further empower magic missile, adding an additional 2 bolts per
awesome.
action.
Gotta stay
So
with
now
what works, right?
I'm dropping, 5 bolts per action, 15 shots, 15 D4, 15 D4s plus 1.
As much as I'm dying to know what that spell is, I think you should wait for a reveal. We waited 4 seasons for
I took a buff and I took an attack spell, and I will reveal them later. I won't reveal them now.
Yeah.
Also, if we were gonna have some downtime, that allows me to take advantage of my arcane evolution feat that I took earlier, and I can expand my repertoire further with downtime and money.
Cool. Is that everything for you?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody's beeping. Let's go to Joseph.
Yes.
Our cleric. Our token human with the stubble of a beard, the ancestry feat of dwarvenness.
Of dwarvenness, yes. Woohoo. Yes. So what would you like first?
Saving throws.
Saving throws? Human. Bad. Fortitude.
Bad. Okay.
Yeah. Fortitude, 13. Reflex, 9. Will, 15.
Oh, that's kind of the opposite tier of what we just had from Matt. So that's all right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I eat fireballs bad.
Okay. What do you got in the way of new exciting feats?
New and exciting feats. Once, like almost everybody else, with general feats, you're kind of limited on what you can choose comparatively to class feats.
Okay.
You are, because at level 7, you can take a 1st level one or a 7th level one. So I took toughness.
But you know what? It helps with those fireball problems, right? So
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
What did you
that
take?
and
Sorry?
toughness.
Oh, yeah, that's a good feat.
yeah.
I had to.
So far, Joe is not very excited about 7th level. What else you
So
got?
during the montage, there's you and Rioros doing your cardio together.
Yeah. But it's yeah, because
Playing ball tag, just like in Voxmon. That'll make it tough.
Oh, haha, got you.
I did not agree to this. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
yeah, but yeah, for 7th level for a cleric isn't very exciting. Except for like majority of spellcasters. Yes, I get to cast a higher level spell now. So
Got your eye on anything? You're looking forward to 4th level. Let's see. What opens up 4th level classic cleric from the old edition? Charm monster? Anyone? No?
No,
Nothing?
all that stuff is
Nothing.
gone. No, like magic is nerfed in 2nd edition. I'll say that.
Yeah, I will say the spell selection is a bit lackluster. Like it doesn't have the same oomph it had in 1st edition, but it feels a little more balanced in general, except versus the fighter, because the fighter class is the OP one in 2nd ed.
It is, but it's all right. I still like magic. So, but yeah, but a new spell that they did not have in 1st ed, as far as I know, that I'll be taking all the time since I'm the fucking healing buff, is a Vital Beacon.
Oh.
Prepare pretty much once per day, because it takes 1 minute to prepare to cast. So you cast
Holy
it during
smokes.
you cast it during your daily preparations until your next daily preparation is the duration. Vitality radiates outwards for you, allowing you to supplicate and receive healing once per round. Either me or an ally can use an interact action to supplement and lay on hands to regain health. It starts off at 4d10, then the next time is 4d8, then 4d6, and then 4d4.
So everybody gets like a reducing heal buff that they can tap into because of this?
Yeah, by touching me and using one action.
God, the RP for that is horrible, but
Yeah,
I know,
it's just like, it's like, should I give my thought process
walk up to
now?
good game, slap him on the cheeks.
But see, you guys are constantly going to have you guys are going to have to constantly retreat to his position. But Niles
Touch
usually,
him.
But I'm playing in front line, so
yeah,
it's-
no, he. But I was
it
going
works.
to, in your defense though, because it's like, no, wait a minute. He runs up with his rapier and goes, pokey poke, and everyone else is going to be like slathering you with butter oil, going, yeah, you poke that. That's really good.
Yeah.
So,
But no, I think that for a half decent healing buff spell is pretty good.
no, that's cool.
Well, that's crazy
And,
good,
and,
man.
and finally, Joe seems excited about his class. So, like, you know, we're supposed to make this sound like I want to. All the kids at home want to play a cleric now. Joe's like, well, this sucks. This ain't so very
Well,
impressive.
it doesn't suck. It's just it's not as impressive as other classes at this
okay.
level. Except for
No, dude, that's an incredible spell.
I
That
would
is an
have to say,
incredible
I would
spell.
have to say
I just took a big one.
for the
Game,
guy that's taken one for
Oh,
the
I feel
team.
so much better
like,
after touching you.
Yeah. Started off with a goblin champion, and when our cleric tapped out of the game, taking one for the team to play a cleric so we could have one because you were just like, they will need one, so I will play one. I think you've been done a very rock solid job, sir. I tease you about your RP all the time, but I've never seen you bat an eye at any, you even logically say, this is happening, so this is what I can do. This is happening, so this is what I must do. This is happening.
Joe,
I can do like,
you make me want to not cast spells. And what that means is
okay.
you ruined it for me.
no, it's not that at all. It means because of his healing, I think we can progress so much further if I just lay back a little bit and not drop my, like every encounter go, ha!
Yeah, well,
'Cause there are things I could do that could really, but instead it's like if I just lay back, let these guys do what they're all doing, he can sustain us. Like we're not going to have to stop
Yeah,
and
well,
heal people.
Yeah, it's because that's pretty much based on resource management, right?
Yeah, well-
Fighters are fighters; like they can keep going. But
Yep.
Yeah,
magic,
yeah.
you're done for the day.
The-
Oh, here's a big encounter. Here's all my spells.
Exactly, but the jungle is laid out a hex a day or 2 days. An encounter, like the encounters are spread out because you guys always get your rests. When you guys get to cities and
Not
stuff,
all the time. Not all the time.
no, but it's just like when you guys get
We had a
when you-
battle. We tried to take a rest. We got fucking hammered. So,
Hey, they're patrols, and like I said, it's like you guys have cleared like a third of the jungle, if not half, and I haven't had one patrol catch up with you. Freaking tracker.
There were patrols.
Yeah, there are. You guys chased one. Speaking of a guy who
Not
likes
for
chasing,
long.
speaking of a guy who likes chasing footprints, Mathew Spiegler. Now, before we get you to dig into your character, I thought it was obvious that we dug up another cousin, not just so that our rookie player from another show could have his shot at the limelight. He is replacing an important NPC. You guys really didn't take to, and I didn't really do a very good job of playing the Spider Woman, Renali. And she has 3 purposes in this game to support you guys. And I actually put in the campaign notes. She is supposed to scout adjacent hexes for you, report back, gather food, build shelter, and be combat support. Spiegler, his dwarf cousin that we pulled out of the air, not just for the comedy theme of it's another cousin, he not only has he done those 3, but the 4th, combat support, he has excelled. Because not only as true to form, because don't ask me why bows are cursed in my podcast, like the ranger never hit anything. This guy, the archer, never hits anything with his bow, throws it down, and then goes water boy on us with the maul and the axe or whatever. But the guy gets shit done. So let's hear from a new level of Matt Spiegler. What are you playing, Spiegler? You're a fighter archer. What are you again?
Yeah, fighter with an archer dedication.
Well, thank God for retraining, but we'll cover that later. So what's new and
But-
exciting?
I was just wondering, because I have 2 feats from that dedication, I can now take a new dedication.
When
Is
your
that-
new archetype feat comes up later, yeah.
Yeah, like is that like just any level, or is that a certain level you can take?
It's
next one
defer to
is
Joe.
8th
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They do line up in a row if you read the first dedication, and then it talks about like the path you chosen or whatever. But what do you got in the world of hit points and saving throws to start us off, Matt?
So yeah, same story with the general feat. I took toughness, and worked out with the bros in the jungle.
Yeah.
We just did cardio so
Did you guys,
hard.
I didn't remember
Montage.
seeing, you guys have like your own chat in Messenger that I'm not aware of. Like, okay, we'll take toughness. Screw Jeff and his random midnight attack.
We went full Chad for like 3 days straight.
What Chad?
We got some creatine, and
Yeah.
we ran. And we got some more
I think I have the
creatine.
same hit points as Muros, 108.
Okay, just bring it in.
What away!
Bring it in on the mic a bit, Matt. Okay, what else you got?
And then we dumped some
Wait,
IPAs.
Protein.
AC is 27.
Mhm.
But the really
Nice.
cool stuff is
What were your saves?
saving throws?
Yeah.
14, 14, 13.
Oh, I still think that's more well-rounded than most of them. That's pretty good,
Yeah,
man.
it's pretty well rounded.
Yeah.
And then I got a skill increase, which I upped my athletics to master. And then I have an ability battlefield surveyor that I got from like fighter level 7, which increases my perception to master. And I get a +2
God.
circumstance bonus to perception checks for initiative, making me faster to react during combat.
Like, you back up to athletics master. As an expert master, you were taking down the totem poles. Now you're a master in that. Like, do you just like wear the 1950 wrestling suit that's got like the straps over the arms? You know, like the old man fight. Like, you know that one they make fun of in movies. You know, like the shorts that become almost the onesie with the wife beater straps.
Yeah,
you know?
all of a sudden,
Sling.
Yeah,
all of a
there's
sudden I lost my Scottish accent, and I'm like, "Get to the chopper."
we have a cousin that talks like that. But sorry, I'll keep going.
And then I got another feat from Fighter called Weapon Specialization, and I was able to add a category of a group of weapons, and I become master in that class.
And what weapons?
I chose hammer for my maul.
So the fighter archer is now specializing in hammer. Because no, see, I love it when
He's
you
a
pick.
dwarf. He's a dwarf. That checks out.
No,
That
no,
checks
like
out.
they
That's a
talk.
ranged weapon.
They talk about guys that plan their guy to 20th level, but in the game, if shit doesn't work out, I like the fact that the circumstances, environment might be molding your choices in the story. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're a crap archer because you are, and you never hit anything because you don't, and you should retrain, which we'll talk about next. Not at
Is
all,
there such
Spiegler.
thing as a hammer bow that's like a bow and a hammer? Like
See,
in
that's
one?
my guy. See, just you know what? We'll fix this. If I could throw arrows with my hammer, there you go. Armor class, saving
crossbow
throws,
hammer. There
hit
you go.
points, new feats, new skill increases. Anything else?
New prestige class, Croquet Knight.
I have been wanting to get my hands on a crossbow.
See, no, we could put an entire culture.
That's why we're
of-
going back to town. I wanted to buy a crossbow.
There you go, Matt. Our new world, the Croquet Knights. Write that
I
down.
think that
Croquet
that's-
Knight.
Seriously, I don't. Has anybody got a notepad? We're gonna write
that's
this
the-
stuff down.
In my head, they're the mustachioed Taldor types.
Yeah,
Right, Talio.
seriously.
My,
And instead of
Everybody
guys
knows
on
Lil Brack.
horses with lances, they got freaking hammers that they swing low, balls up, boys. Like I'm telling you, this is a thing. Anyway, sorry, Spiegler. Anything else
I think-
new about your guy?
Nope, it's Low Brack now. Low Brack's turn.
Seriously, Matt, write that down. We'll
Plagiarize the crap out of the Alice in Wonderland concept, and that's your queen of, and her Croquet Knights.
the queen of cards and her Croquet Knights. Why not? You know, you got to lean his left a little bit to avoid copyright laws. That's all I'm saying. All right, we've heard from 3 dwarfs and a human that wish he was, and now
I mean,
What
we
if-
could plagiarize Disney too, and their mounts are giant flamingos. Let's do it.
the man who's so awesome he doesn't need pants because I say so. The goblin that's low to the ground, you'll never see him coming. I give you the new and improved 7th level Lobrak the Goblin. I don't even want to say your class and archetype because, again, I'm holding off for something about retraining. So, Aiden, talk about your guy.
Yes. So I am continuing down Rogue.
Mhm.
And so increase hit points up to 87. Saves, got a 12 in fortitude, 17 in reflex, 10 in will. And speaking of reflex, at 7th level, I get evasion as a rogue class feature. So my reflex goes up to master,
Booyah.
and I believe I can't critically fail.
Do you know, he was at ground zero during
it's when you
explosion.
roll a success, you get a critical success instead.
I was going to ask you, was there a feat about like burnt scarring or whatever? But I think it's so cool that you were hugging the barrel, it blew up, and now you level and you have evasion. Like your guy learned and grew from the experience.
All right, opposite of that move. Opposite of that move.
Literally in the description it says you've learned to move quickly to avoid explosions, dragon's breath, and worse. I think they wrote this with the adventure in mind.
Yeah. Sorry, man. What else you got?
It's funny because you've actually been exposed to all of those things in this module.
I know. He knew
And
this
then he
nice.
learned.
I know he knew a nice ranger and a peaceful ape and its pet druid rat guy, and now he met you morons, and it's like his life has changed so much.
Yeah,
Fire
it's got a
bad.
trapper.
I think he should drop your archetype used to be trap guy, and now it's assassin.
No, so it was originally trap guy, never ever got used, and then we found weapon improviser, and we thought it'd be hilarious, and so I took it, and then I was looking at it recently and realized I don't actually qualify for it. So Lobrak has actually been doing some stuff in secret that we can talk about a little bit later, but
Okay.
he is mimicking someone else.
Oh, I've been looking into this. I didn't realize there was time, training, and money. Where's my money, Mr. Lobrak, that you owe for training? Anyway, okay. Sorry, moving on deeper into your character, saving throws.
Yes. So 12 fortitude, 17 reflex, 10 will. I also get perception increase to master and another skill rank increase. So I took that as stealth, bumping that to master.
Nice.
And then I got a general feat and a skill feat. Because rogues get skill feats every level.
Yeah.
Nice.
So for skill feat, I took rapid mantle. So I can pull myself up ledges when I grab an edge. And I can also use athletics instead of reflex saves to grab an edge.
Cool.
But that's leading up towards further stuff. But the general feat,
you were just almost dangling off a cliff. No, I love this. This is good. I gotta say, all your choices all around, boys, have been impressive. They all make sense. No one's picked something out of left field like, I just want this for my character that didn't suit your environment or the story. So no, Daddy's pleased all around. What else you got?
Oh, so for general feat, I took urban warfighter.
Thank you for not taking toughness. Oh God, thank you.
I was like, damn it, do I go toughness or do I go something that makes no sense?
You made the right decision.
Good. But no, in all seriousness, I actually took swift sneak, which allows me to move my full speed when I sneak.
Oh, that's
and
gonna
I
be
can
good.
use swift sneak
Ooh,
while burning,
that's
climbing,
powerful.
flying, or swimming instead of striding if I have the corresponding movement type.
How
I don't
cool-
know if I can get any of those.
It's
but-
so annoying when he just blindly watches me spam his stealth. You know, it's like, you're just playing the odds. You're gonna screw up. Now it's half as many rolls, so no, that's good. Double move in the old game for Thief Rogue was like one of the first things I ever took. Skill feat, general feat, class feat. Did we do your class feat?
don't get a class feat.
Okay. So that's everyone, and you won't talk about your current archetype. So let's talk about retraining, which costs money, a week to a month, depending on the circumstances, and you need a teacher. Now you're going to an elven village, which has a lot of things covered. And what I like about this is, let's say Ryan wanted to take the skill Arcane, right? He's got Al that could teach him for free. Maybe even Niles. But if he pays for the elf to teach him, he might learn something that looks the same in dice, but from a completely different perspective. The only way I could think of this is like, I know I'm jumping from fantasy to sci-fi. Oh, okay, well, how about this? Like, think of all the different sword styles with rapier alone. In Taldor, there's one where they have a sharp blade and the little buckler. And they talk about how this fighting style came about and its history from monk / something else, but they're using a swift blade. And then you have your classic swashbuckler who turns sideways, presents his opponent with a narrow, slim target, hides his vital organs by turning, because when you have a profile of someone, you get one eye, one hand, a blade in your face, one hip, one leg. That's all the guy could see to poke at, right? Because like on a movie, in a fencing style, you see the guy turn sideways, he looks like a moron. But the opponent sees a very slim silhouette with nothing but a blade in his face. And that's one of the classic... Anyway, I digress. My point being, for retraining, I would like to get into this rules as raw. So, Joe, am I missing anything about retraining?
No, just retraining is just pretty much downtime. So as long as you
Right.
have some downtime and some cash and the teacher, then...
Yeah. And I guess we talked
And
about...
depending on what you want to retrain is up to the DM. If
Okay.
you want to train into something
No.
common, no problem. Uncommon, you get DM's permission. Rare,
Exactly,
DM's
no.
permission.
Now, we've been talking about a lot of concepts lately and a lot of things we could do with a new show, or as opposed to putting them into this show. Without saying it out loud, you guys all saw my comment today about how I could hand wave some retraining, thanks to Muros' crafting and recrafting of a certain portal.
Right.
Yeah, think about that for a moment. Anyway, guys, you finally come across the city once again. The city of Akroville. A treetop city that any Ewok would definitely envy. This place is huge, with not one but 3 massive platforms spinning off into like a dozen smaller platforms, all nestled high, practically in, if not above, canopy level of the jungle itself. Good 50 feet off the floor at least. When you guys...
Cool town. It's a cool,
Yes.
cool town.
The elves, since this is... remember the last time you came back? We were bummed about the elephants. You don't get quite the same fanfare. And this time, they're like, oh yeah.
We don't need it. We're not doing this for the glory. We're
No, I
doing
know.
it for the coin.
But a lot of people came to the rope bridges and kind of thing, and they were all like, yeah, they played, like, they even teased you about the rope ladder for those that couldn't climb easily. Today, you just see the guards in pairs. They look down and they just nod at your passing. And you guys are sort of on your own for getting up here, finding your way around and asking directions and who you want to speak to. I wouldn't say that there's like a more mellow or maybe even like a depressed Paul, but when you guys first arrived, you were strange and new and there was new hope, right? A couple weeks have gone by and you guys are saying you're trying to make some progress. We're trying to explore the jungle. They know this is going to take a couple months, but you haven't had a lot of results. Now you guys have brand new information that's surely going to cheer these guys up, as opposed to like, yeah, we're sorry we killed some elephants and we didn't know that we let a guy go with a powerful totem down the river in his boat. and we're sorry. And there's the old guy you left here, the elephant person, who speaks their language and has been filling them with like detailed accounts of the crazy stuff you did in his village, right? So yeah, a lukewarm welcome, but no one shuns you.
Take it. We'll
No one
take it.
No one shuns you. No one, you know what I mean? Just kind of, oh yeah, it's them. You guys make your way to the treetops and the main canopy platforms. What do you guys want to do? Where do you guys want to go? Who do you want to see?
First things first, we'll go to that Nikta or whatever their name was. I think it was Nikta or Nikita or whatever. Necktie, yeah. We'll go to them and we'll report our progress. We'll be like, yo, I think we figured this out. Lost. Believe it or not, the statues that we've been just knocking over for fun seems to be reducing the pull that the cultists have over the jungle.
Who do you
Like
think
just the other
would
day,
like to know about
our
this the
wee
most?
friend Lobrek mentioned he felt lighter in his step. Perhaps you could send some skates out to confirm.
We would, but they have what do you call it? They have like a perimeter, right?
They're borders.
Right, and that perimeter has been greatly reduced because of the fog that clouds their eyes, right? So they're on the very edge of that, zone, right? If anything changes, they would know about it, and you guys would be getting the hero's welcome already, right? So sadly, Nikita says, no, there's been no change yet from our guards and people. But what you're doing sounds promising. And if you'd like, I can report this, translate, or if you'd like to report this yourselves, I think your, shall we say, reputation could use a boost. I wouldn't summon the queens, but at least let's go see my father. So,
Right. I'll trust your judgment. Lead on, lassie.
okay. So, you guys...
I'm gonna walk him aside and necktie. I gotta give her arm a little tug. Hey, necktie.
Nikita,
Yeah. Nikita.
we've known each other for a few weeks, and our relationship is still... She looks you up and down.
Tomato.
She looks him up and down appraisingly, evolving.
Hey, remember when I came to you about that problem I was having before? When we first met and all?
Yes, did the balm and salve and pills I gave you help?
No, not that one problem there. No, and that cream burnt like a son of a... Oh, it's like putting a sun down there, I tell you. Never again am I going to trust an elf tincture. Never
I
again.
don't think you placed it in the right area, but never mind. What is my misunderstanding? What?
Well, remember I was saying there, I mistook your condition with your arm and whatnot, as you being able to talk to the trees and whatnot. What and all.
Yes.
I found my own way around that. I thought you'd be being of appreciating of hearing that happened.
Your presence is as if your souls have, and she says souls plural, not singular. Your souls seem to have realigned themselves in a new purpose. If that's what I'm sensing about you, but
More
Look at-
more akin to a balance.
one little scraggly like leaf branch comes up and like brushes her hair from behind shyly. She's, but I go on.
It's all.
Anyway, a little banter, a little flirt maybe.
Just a
And
little casual
unfortunate-
conversation from point A to point B.
Yeah, and we're finally at point B.
I'll touch your sprout if you touch mine.
And the hand is back to a very heavy log fist, and you get clouted with it. And she says, and I've been learning some Dwarvish, and she stalks off. Wait here, I'll get my father. And we're back to and we just ruined any headway that the druid just made for us.
Oh, turns out Albert, your face. Look at it.
He looks like he's been punched by Groot. And not baby Groot either.
Oh, cuz. That's why I like hanging around, yeah.
What did I say?
Because he keeps you from
I did
dating?
nothing.
Sorry.
I don't know if it was the wrong thing at the right time or the right thing at the wrong time. But
You
either
know
way,
as well as I do, there is no one who is good enough for you, Miros.
what do you mean good enough for me there, cuz? Surely conjecture I was sharing.
The room, you two.
I love you, Xander. I'll never leave you. Says Miss Hand. All right. So you guys find what's his name? You find yourselves set upon now, Dad, Jihad, I believe.
Jossie.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just trying to pull up a picture of him here so I can put him in your brain. There we go. The guy with the Technicolor dream coat.
Isn't that Kosa?
No, the course is all in green, and the guy that is his daughter. So, Jussie is one of the leaders. Has a very rare and special title that has yet to be overly explained to you. Something a dwarf would probably notice. I wouldn't just normally point this out, but even hand-waving perceptions, he is one, and I do mean one, amongst any that you've seen, the only guy that wears gold jewelry. And you guys asked him about this before. And do you remember when you guys found gold and you didn't want to have anything to do with it, even though he's wearing stuff? And you guys got arsenic poisoning. Remember that? Good times, yeah.
It was so fun.
Only one to wear gold jewelry. But those thoughts are for another time. Niktita is having a curt conversation with Father. She points at you guys, and then he moves with her as if she's coming along, and she shakes her head no, and then leaves. And he comes kind of shrugging his shoulder, like looking at her leaving, like, what'd you guys do? And then looking at you, but kind of, you know, as a bro, sympathizing. My daughter is our bridge between cultures. She is very open-minded. So I am curious what it is that you believe you have said or done that might offend her. Please tell me only that I can help make amends. She does speak of you often, and his eyes linger over Miros, and I would hate to see our budding reputation perished, tarnished, or abruptly ended due to a misunderstanding. And everyone shrugs at him. Okay, what can I do for you? You guys are all just looking in the cameras. Okay, what can I do for you? Never mind. Too much? Okay, moving on.
One for the one guy that fucked up and speak. He's the beast after all. I am just a lowly goblin.
Wasn't he that dude that I tried to like convince into a threesome?
Yeah, him and Ahsoka.
Yeah,
damn
I
it.
thought so.
Him and
Yeah,
Luke.
I don't got a lot to say to the guy.
And-
There's
and
some blushing and
she would just-
avoiding of gazes.
I think he was the guy that was partially down for it, and then the other guy just, you know... sorry, the other guy. The gentleman, Akosa, his lifelong friend, and his daughter thinks these guys should become a couple. Her human mother has perished, and these guys have been lifelong elven buddies, and, you know, the daughter being exposed to the outside world, or maybe it's just, you know, an elf thing. Love is love, free love, you know. Can't be with the one you want. Be the one with your... Anyway, you'll learn more about their culture
Give
through
him
the
old
journal. And
Eukjae handshake.
Anyway, you were really drunk. Only the goblin has no regrets. So...
But that's no defense. I'm always really drunk.
And I
true.
never have any regrets.
So you've returned. Is it news? Bad news that has offended her? You haven't killed more elephants, have you?
No.
Well,
No,
that's-
we've
that's
just been
promising.
surviving off of like the minuscule wildlife and such.
So
I said something about touching sprouts. I don't know. Really, maybe I overstepped a boundary in your culture. Perhaps. It could happen.
I'm surprised, cousin, because she said she wasn't a druid. And I'm just saying, I wasn't offended. But, you know, there's a different culture between our kin and theirs. You know, it's like rocks in a river. They always go to the bottom.
I'll have to ask her about it later. My dwarven is not on par with hers. She's been rapidly trying to absorb your languages amongst her other duties, to her credit. Never mind. He's trying to figure out what sprouts means, and because you guys, I just gotta see like certain verbs and nouns. You guys are like blah 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 common, and then like use the dwarven word. You know what I mean? So a lot of this conversation's going over
It
his
doesn't
head.
translate. It just doesn't translate.
Well, you said something about this word as opposed to we said, hey, nice this, or hey, buddy, I bet you could get some this from, like, there's no innuendo for him to lead off of, so he's just kind of like, okay, moving on again.
It's Fruitenhoiden. There's only one word for it. It's Fruitenhoiden. That's just it.
We have all placed our trust and hopes in you, particularly Nikita. Perhaps a second round in the jungle with little else to report has dashed her hopes.
Hey, Miros, did we mention anything about our little green friends, the Greensbaker?
No, we hadn't gotten to that yet there.
You guys haven't talked about anything. You guys were like hyped up to tell him everything, and I'm like, so, what do you have to tell me? Crickets. So again, what would you, anything new? Crickets. Like, you guys like just withholding information, or?
Oh, right, sorry. So I'm so sorry. So as we've been wondering,
Am I not the guy you were supposed to tell shit to? I'll go get Ahsoka. Can you talk to him?
No, it's okay. On the way in, we ate some fungi, and it may not have been the right fungi that I thought it was.
Now there's a word that
you
doesn't.
certainly made Lobrecht a fun guy.
Guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can see by the look on his face that doesn't translate well. All right then, he says, and he leans in and tries to speak some Dwarven. Lay it on me. Which of course he got wrong.
Lobrecht. What have you got?
Why is he laughing?
Yeah. So, I don't know if the flying elk skulls were real or not, but I think I have an idea on where some of those totems are.
Totems?
Anyone got a map?
Hey. Roll this out.
I'll jump on the table and just kind of, crawl over to it and cut my own hand and just like circle in blood, kind of the areas where I think they are.
Oh geez, like a 5-year-old with a finger painting. He just starts destroying your map, dude. Because he goes
a project painting.
he's like here, and then he goes smear over to this other one and smear.
Where the blood isn't.
Yeah, it's like, perhaps I'll go get a different map. He goes,
Could you grab 2, please?
Okay, so fast forward to a new map that he's holding up tacked to like a tree or whatever, or two kids that are loving Dance Tuesday and also eyeing Miros in a new way. And we've got like his hands are bandaged, the goblin, and we're insisting that he can only point.
Y'all are no fun. Fine. Here.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up the actual map. Can I have a raw intelligence from you, sir?
Oh, no.
Because what you saw from bird's eye view luckily does calculate to the map, and you're looking for landmarks or whatever, but still, there's a little bit of guesswork, right?
Did that not pop up?
You should be able to just hit... Oh, here comes something. 4.
Okay, well, my first roll was a 16, but nothing popped up, so I got a 4.
Okay. So he's like, there's one right here on the river. And he Low Black claims that it is south. See the little square open up by itself, directly south, if not a bit southwest of us. There's the straight chain straight down, but then there's something off to the side he's opened up.
Oh, there's like a little marshland.
Yeah, a little square.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's close to the river, and and you're trying to use that as a guide, and you're like, with a 4, you're like, I think it's here.
Okay.
Another one?
8.
And there's another one, and you're like, okay, river branching, this and this, and you're like, okay, there's another one. I think it's here. And he shows a location a couple squares away, closer, kind of along the route you came back, only further south. Another one?
And the dice rolls.
You can actually see it spinning on my screen. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
7.
Right? And you're like, and I'm pretty sure there's one here. And he's like talking about right on top of where our ranger took our new orc buddy. So it must be nearby them. Nearby their camp. Like, it's an entire hex, one little camp. So maybe... Yeah. And another one?
Eight.
Was there... Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 more. The last one, you're like, and you're pretty sure, like, there wasn't anything near it, like it was sort of way off on its own, but it was near a clearing, so you're like, I think it, like, might actually be, like, they're tricking you, like it's in the opposite direction, like in one of these two up here, like an anchoring point or something.
Huh. Okay.
So anyway, he's doing the best he can, poking at the map, right?
Oh, I kind of want to intercede here, but I worry that if I do, I'm just going to make things more confusing.
Oh, go ahead.
Give it a crack. What's the worst that happen?
By all means, argue the rolls under 10.
I'm just going to keep drinking my
I thought
protein
that's what we were
shake.
here for.
It wouldn't be the first culture we've been expunged from.
What's on your mind, Stefan?
I said, no, I'm just going to keep drinking my protein
okay.
shake.
Okay. All right. So you guys talk about the totems and what you believe they represent. We went into this in depth, so before.
So, give us a few days, maybe a week, to get our bearings back in order, and we'll head on out and see what else we can do.
Okay. So you explain to them that you're tired, you want to retrain. You ask them for teachers. You see if you get a discount. You know, we must rest, recuperate. You guys tell them about your battles, right? About the Taldorian guy. Do you mention the temple?
Yep.
They're very excited about the temple and what that could imply and how you saved it. They're very happy that you guys have this thesis about, well, the cultists are planting magic. They literally are planting them like telephone poles, like some kind of artificial magical tree, and it's burnt laser-eyed. So the fact that you're destroying them, you know, that's got to be good news, whether it's linked to something overall or not. But you're definitely putting a hole in their defenses or their plans. So they're definitely happy about that. So that's 2 for 2. I'm curious. Could our goblin retrain his oracle and just stay on the peyote and maybe up his game? He said he wanted to have a private conversation. So before we have that private conversation with Aiden about his retraining, I'm just putting it out there, you know?
Look, just because I didn't go down the far-seeing path in Star Wars doesn't mean you can force it on.
I'm telling you, it's so good. Like so much foreshadowing and stuff you can do. We lost our one player that had the prophetic dreams, you know, background trait. All right. So now, the montage that you've all been waiting for. We will see you next time, and when we come back, we will have hopefully discussed costs, revelations, and, of course, the inevitable... What's that word, Matt, you keep saying I love? Caveat? No.
Caveat?
Caveat? The caveats that cutting corners may or may not incur. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
And you guys said you couldn't sing together through Zoom. That was on key. That was pretty on point.
Wasn't bad. I wouldn't call it on key, but I'm judging.
A little
nowhere near.
round, like a Scottish dwarven good night, you know. Good
Someone's
night,
gotta be
sweetheart. It's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go.
Oh, do.
Yeah, no. Can you do a Scottish accent?
Domo arigato. Good night, roboto.
He's a progressive '80s dwarf.
Yeah. Oh wait, we're going. No, we're going too far back. Stop.